Okay, Red Thompson on the Total Media and Facebook channel for the Telegram. And we're here at one of Benton County's historical attractions. And it's a big tourism county, and we certainly have one here at the Alice House. These two local women are some of the people that help run it. Want to introduce yourself and tell us about the history and historic significance of this place?
I am Joyce Peters. I'm one of the volunteers here at the Benton County Historical and Genealogical Society. This is our museum, and we have been located here at 207 South Sugar Street in McArthur since 2000, since the year 2000. And we invite people to come and visit us. We're here on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays between noon and 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And I'm Deanna Tribe, and serving as president of the organization now, and Joyce is secretary now, and we're two of several volunteers that we actually function to operate this house museum, and we also have a growing genealogy library, and that probably is the key that brings a lot of folks in, because there's almost something like genealogy tourism now, that we have visitors from Texas, Indiana, and all places in between, and different parts of Ohio and other states, and we get phone calls from all over too, for people that have relatives from Benton County, and they're trying to do a little tracing of their roots. And so that's what we're about, is to maintain and archive that information, so that when we get those visitors, we get those phone calls, that we're able to help people out. And we certainly hope that even locally, we are a museum, house museum, and so forth, not just for McArthur, but for Benton County. And so we do invite collections. We've had several different things that people have donated to us, and that's in terms of paper things too. You know, I remember not too long ago, Joyce, that we got what has filled several tote boxes now from Ma Sims, Frances Sims, up around Creola. And she had kept what nowadays we call journaling, but back in those days would have been called a diary. And we have those from the time that she got married until almost the time that she died. And so every day she wrote in there things that people that stopped to visit, things that she did, what she cooked for supper, all of that, when she went to church, all of that kind of thing, so that it gives you an idea of what was happening. Something else that we acquired pretty recently too was from Dr. Robert Treckler, from who had is retired from Kent State University, but he had visited us several years ago, and he has done a lot of research on the potters, stoneware potters here in this county, as well as in Perry and Muskingum and some of those other counties. But in his latest book, he's talking about the migration of stoneware potters in North America, and the first chapter in this is looking at the potters of Greater Swan Township. And so not only is talking about and you can see here, this is the kind of pottery and all that we're talking about, the stoneware pottery that people actually could store fruits and vegetables and all that kind of thing in. And so he names the significant people that were in the pottery business. They just were small potteries in that time period, so that this actually serves a little bit in terms of telling about the industry, but also the genealogy of the folks that actually, back in those days, the late 1800s, early 1900s and so forth, that were, in addition to farming, were a lot of clay in this county, and so they were turning it into that stoneware work. So another kind of thing that we have here.
You've discussed a lot of the options. We have a new marketing director, Amanda Boying, and he said she came in and you bounced some ideas off her, and there's all kinds of guests coming to the Hocking Hills. I know she has plans for those, hopefully to direct some of that money to Vinton County. But this house is a real living history. I'm sure a lot of people would just love to see it. You said it was donated. Tell us a little bit how it was donated and about the living history in this house that people can enjoy.
Well, it was donated by Barbara Litter, who was a local math teacher. She grew up here some. This was her grandmother, Alice Odin's home, and she would visit and tell us various stories. When she had gotten the property, she was wanting to make it in honor of her grandmother, and so we chose to name it Alice's House. A lot of the furnishings are from sales,
Estate sales.
yeah, the estate sales, thank you, that she and her mother, and I think sometimes her sister, would visit here in the county. So we have different pieces from different facilities, such as the Old American House Hotel in Hamden, one of the Wallenwider, who is a local attorney. We have a piece of his furniture, various furnishings throughout the house, which we're very proud of.
And those things are marked with the person who donated, and so that gives just a little indication in terms of their connection to. Upstairs I was showing when Amanda was here, and we were looking at things, and I showed her the typewriter, not an electric typewriter, but one of the old-fashioned kinds of typewriters, one that I learned to type on, where you slung the carriage and that kind of thing, but that belonged to Pete Abley. And of course, Pete, lawyer and judge and in Congress and that kind of thing. So very significant to our history, and to be able to have physical things for people to look at, I think is pretty important. You can do a lot of research and so forth online and the internet, and we don't. It's easy now for people to get online and do some of their genealogy research, but we'd like for them to come here where you can actually touch and see and that kind of thing. I remember a few years ago with Maud Collins, when a lot of the research and all was done, and Jane Terzillo, that was from the Akron area, that was writing about Maud. She came down because she actually wanted to travel and to see where was Axtell Ridge and all of that kind of thing. It was, not enough just to read about Maud so that she could write her story, but she wanted to physically see it. And so I think that's an advantage of having something like this as a house museum, where you can touch things and see things. And like, I'm working at the 1924 newspaper right now in order to put together a newsletter, and it takes forever because you just find all of this interesting things. You hear a lot of folks now, nothing ever happens in Vinton County, and then you look at what all has happened in the past, and it's like, my word, people were doing all kinds of social and cultural things and getting together and doing educational programs and all, so that what we do nowadays doesn't hold a candle to what they were doing, because they didn't have television and the internet and all that kind of thing for entertainment and for their enrichment. They actually were out and visiting and doing things. It's interesting. We're hopeful that more people would volunteer. That's a side benefit of volunteering, is of what all you can learn that you didn't even know that you wanted to know.
Okay, and Alice House, thank you, ladies. And for more about Alice House, go to their Facebook page. They update it. And even better, stop by and see this wonderful historic part of Vinton County. This has been Red Thompson for the Total Media and Telegram Facebook pages.